Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey, this is Chris Broderick of Act of Defiance, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather, with my co-host,
Brittany.
And as always, we bring you guys awesome interviews. And today we have on the line with us Mr. Chris Broderick. He's the guitarist of Act of Defiance. And their new album is going to be coming out this Friday. It's called Birth and the Burial. And I'll tell you what, I've got to listen to it thanks to George. And really, really awesome tracks on this album from you guys, Chris. So how are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing really well. I'm super excited to see what people think of the new CD. And, you know, it's only one day away now, and things are looking great. So
far, man, what are some of your favorite tracks off this album, or can you really pick any?
Well, it's a funny thing, you know. It's almost like when you're an artist, you know, you have to fully immerse yourself in the song itself, each song. And so for me, I don't know that I would pick any one as my favorite, but I could say there are attributes of different songs that I really like, you know. So if I were, like, breaking it down like that, like Legion of Lies to me is one of the most, like, consistent, like, well-written songs on the CD. It comes in with this triplet fill and double kick drums and just has such a dark mood behind it. I think everybody would really like that song overall. And then if I looked at, like, a chorus, a song like Dead Stare, I really like the chorus in that song. But if I looked at the leads, you know, I might look at something like The Fallen or maybe even, again, Dead Stare, you know, the guitar nerd in me.
I know Throwback's a really awesome song, and I know that you wrote that one, but I mean, dude, I like it because it is throwback to the old metal ways. I like how, you know, it's more heavier than what's out there today, and I think a lot of bands are just scared to push the envelope, so to speak.
Right. Yeah, well, I think, you know, when we were writing this, we didn't really put any criteria on exactly where we wanted the songs to go or anything like that. And so I think our different influences and styles kind of presented themselves as we wrote.
Chris, how hard have you guys pushed yourself to come up with something new from song to song than what's out there right now on this album from you guys?
You know, we didn't necessarily look at it in that light. We didn't say, oh, well, we've got to do something different or we've got to do something this way. It was really just more about writing what we wanted to and being able to actually have our own creativity in what we were doing musically. So that was the biggest driving factor. It wasn't any requirement. It's, you know, I really do think that, you know, if you're trying to outguess the public as to what they'll like or what they might expect, then you're in for a rude awakening. You know, it's going to be one of those things where you're always one step behind.
Yeah, for sure.
Forming this band and doing the album, did it give you and Sean more freedom musically?
Oh, absolutely. Totally. You know, we definitely, you know, anything that we wanted to have happen on the CD did happen, you know, and we definitely bounced ideas back and forth from each other, but it was really more recommendation, you know, than, you know, not a requirement that we had to do it a certain way or anything like that. So we had total and complete freedom to do what we wanted to on the CD.
Hey, you're right, man. It has to be everybody's opinion in on this. It can't just be one individual, and it has to be work. You guys have to work together as a band to make this happen.
Absolutely, I agree.
So adding Derek to this, man, he came from Scar the Martyr, and his vocals is freaking awesome. What's he bring to this, man, for you guys?
For me, you know, my biggest criteria when we were looking for a singer was a vocalist that had individuality and character. And for me, that Henry definitely met that criteria. But, you know, luckily he's also got range and, you know, can vary the style of his vocals as well. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and we didn't want, you know, obviously we knew we wanted to go with somebody that could sing pretty heavy. But as far as the clean stuff goes, you know, all too often you get that kind of, it's like black and white where you have either super heavy and then you have totally clean vocals, super heavy and totally clean. And we didn't really want that. We wanted something where there were these smooth transitions in between them if it was what's called for the music, you know. So any amount of grit in between, you know, an extremely guttural scream to clean singing. You know, we wanted all of those colors in between there, not just either or.
What do you hope the fans take away from the new album?
I mean, I hope that they just like it. You know, that they are open enough to accept some of the diverse subgenre changes that we have. You know, it's all definitely metal, but you know, some metalheads are so allied with their particular subgenre, and sometimes they don't want any diversity in their music. And so I hope that the fans can listen to this, like what they hear in their particular subgenre that they always like, and then also allow the rest of the album to exist as well, that maybe in different subgenres.
Yeah, because metal fans, they will shy away from stuff that they don't like for sure, a heartbeat.
They're you know, they have an allegiance that's both awesome and hard to crack sometimes. Yeah. You know, if you're trying to get them and make them, you know, your fan.
So I know you guys haven't got to play a show yet, which that's coming up very soon in October, I believe. Mm-hmm. But Chris, man, what can they expect from you guys at a show?
You know, I think we're just going to try and bring the vibe of the CD, you know, the heaviness and the in-your-face type of playing that we did, and we're going to try and put it in their faces as much as possible and then make them a part of it and just try and have a good time.
How much support have you guys gotten since you announced Act of Defiance?
Yeah, I think we've gotten a lot of support. The reviews have been overwhelmingly positive, and overall we just keep hearing from different people and different, you know, people that are kind of tuned into the industry and stuff like that, that the buzz is getting out and things are being said that are good, you know, and positive about this band. So I couldn't be happier about that.
I mean, has it shocked you since using, you know, since it's a digital age right now with social media, Facebook and all that stuff that, I mean, you guys announced this and like, I guess a couple of days you guys were already hitting over like 1 million fans and stuff, man. Yeah,
we were, you know, doing really well as far as people being interested in what we were putting out, and so yeah, it's been overwhelming. You know, it's been awesome.
Can you tell me your best show experience or band experience that sticks out in your mind?
Absolutely. For me, I mean, it's got to be the Big Four show that we did in Croatia, or not Croatia, sorry, Warsaw, Poland. The one where we actually recorded the live show and it played in theaters here in the U.S. So, but just the overall Big Four experience in general, just getting to play on stage with all those other iconic bands, and you know, and to kind of realize that, you know, Metallica, you know, it's not like they needed any of us to make their career or further their career where it's at. You know, they're on a different level, and they were so gracious with us, and they put it all together, and you know, they made it more about instead of just another bill, they made it about, you know, the thrash community and just celebrating the style of music as opposed to, you know, just another tour.
When putting this together, Chris, did the recording and everything go pretty quick and getting this out there to everybody?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it didn't feel like it was going quick, but I think, you know, it actually happened and came together pretty quickly because, you know, Sean and I first started talking about doing this, you know, in December of last year, and I would say we already had all the songs completed and demoed by the end of February and May.
What was it for you that made you want to be a musician? What was the spark?
Yeah, it was funny because when I was growing up, I was like in 5th grade or something like that. I lost like all my jock friends, and I found a new clique of friends, and they happened to be into metal and stuff like that. And so I would be hanging out with my friend, and he had a guitar, and I would always be bugging him to play it. And there was just something about the instrument in particular that I really liked. You know, there was something that was alluring about the instrument itself. And yeah, it's pretty funny because, you know, a lot of people who start playing the guitar or start an instrument, it's because they see a band or they see somebody on stage or something like that, and that inspires them. But for me, it was truly just the instrument, and then, you know, seeing the bands and the other players came later for me, which was awesome. You know, it was like a second inspiration after the fact.
I play air guitar to get the ladies. It's not worked very well, but I try.
You know, they have those competitions. So.
They do. They do.
Yep.
Chris, my last question for you, man. What's it mean to you? And I'm sure you guys still get this. You know, I know you're with Act of Defiance, but previously in the other bands that you was with. But what's it mean to you when you receive an email from a fan, or prior to a show or after a show, they tell you that, hey, your music has helped us through a dark time, or they really like your guitar playing and it's gave them inspiration? What's it mean to you, man?
That to me is the biggest form of a compliment. You know, that to know that actually something that you've created has impacted somebody else's life, hopefully in a positive way.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, to just know that that people appreciate what you do, that is the biggest form of a compliment. So
I got to say, like I said before, I like this album, and as a fan of music, first and foremost, thank you guys for forming Act of Defiance and bringing some new stuff to us, man.
Well, thanks for having me, and you know, we'll keep putting it out there. So. Yeah, no plans of quitting anytime soon, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, I hope not. How can people stay in touch with you guys, buy your merchandise, and especially show dates coming up? How can they do that?
Well, you can do it through our Act of Defiance Facebook page. We also have a Twitter page. We have Act of Defiance Instagram. We also are currently putting up our website, and so you'll be able to see what we're offering through all of those areas, and then be able to stay in contact with us that way too.
Okay. Before I let you go, you care to do a promo for the show?
Okay. Hey, this is Chris Broderick of Act of Defiance, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour with
Brittany.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.